How's it going, good people of YouTube? Welcome to another concept series episode. This concept series episode is a little idea that I had when I was watching some history videos, and I watched a video about revenge within history and whatnot, people getting revenge on their enemies in history, and it brought up something about the Warlord Era of China. So, let me read this out. Set during the chaotic Warlord Era, between 1916 to 1928, you would play as Wei Jianglong, a royal captain in the Honorable Zili clique, or clique, however you say that, under the Jade Marshal Wu Paifu. After the devastating defeat of the Second Zili Fengtian War in 1924, your homeland in Hebei province, falls to the brutal Manchurian forces of Zhang Zuolin, the Tiger of the North, and his notorious subordinate Zhang Zongchang, the dog meat general. Swearing vengeance, Wei begins as a traditional warrior bound by martial codes, leading open assaults and duels. But as atrocities mount, villages burned, peasants conscripted, you embrace a darker, well, maybe not a darker path, but a more cutthroat path, I should say. So things like guerrilla sabotage, assassinations, and peasant uprisings, inspired by real groups like the Red Spear Society. This period of China was basically a Wild West period, you could say. You know, in a sense, not exactly Wild West, but like, you know, close to it. So there's a lot of peasant uprisings and whatnot, because they were sick and tired of all the war, all of the stuff going on in their country at the time. The campaign spans from 1924 to 1928. So what, like 4 years? Liberating regions amid shifting alliances with figures like the Christian general Fang Yuxiang, however you say that, or early KMT scouts. Choices shape the story, so you can ally with communists for peasant armies, betray warlords for personal power, accumulate in the northern expeditions. The northern expeditions push on Beijing. The northern expedition is basically they're the ones that they wanted to bring China back, because the central government had completely collapsed. There was no central government, so there's just a bunch of warring factions within China. And the Northern Expedition was the one that tried to bring it all back. They tried to bring back the central government and all that. Hold on, where was I? With multiple endings, from a fragile republic under Chiang Kai-shek to your own warlord destiny. So you can really be cutthroat, you can accumulate, or you can join the Northern Expedition. You know, there's a lot of things that you could do. So you could be a cutthroat bastard, or you could try to bring back China, you know, make China great again, I guess you could say. So the setting is fractured northern China. So a breathtaking open world capturing 1920s Republican China. Vast Lao plateaus, the muddy Yellow River prone to floods, crumbling Great Wall outposts turned into warlord forts, dusty rural villages, opium dens, and strategic railroads. ripe for sabotage. Urban hubs like Tianjin and Beijing's outskirts feature foreign legations and armored trains. Dynamic events include dust storms, obscuring stealth approaches, and river floods altering paths. So the protagonist and the progression. So Wei Jianglong starts armored in Zili uniform, wielding a Jiang sword and Han Yang rifle. There's different kinds of garbs, so there's your more roguish garb if you go down the cutthroat path, so stuff like that. So you have a dark Hanfu cloak, Mauser C96, broom handle pistol, iconic Warlord sidearm, and it dies from fallen foes like a color die that you get from fallen foes. Progression via skill trees, so there's the honorable path, so would be like melee mastery leadership. Then there's the cutthroat path, which would be stealth gadgets and terror tactics. You know, stuff like that. So the core gameplay. So, I'm thinking of this being a very... What am I thinking of when I think of this? I guess I'll just read over and you guys kind of decide on what you think. So there's 4 combat stances for 4 enemy types. So there's the stone stance, infantry bayonets. It's made for people with bayonets. There's the water stance for spearmen / cavalry, the wind stance for riflemen, and the dragon stance for machine gunners / officers. You can parry rifle thrusts and dodge grenades, stuff like that. Your signature weapon is the Dao Saber and a Mauser C96 pistol with quick draw executions and hip fire standoffs. Some of your tools, so you have throwing knives, poison darts if you decide to go down the cutthroat path. You have dynamite for trains, smoke grenades, hijack armored cars and horses. You can hijack armored cars and horses. Some of the duels, so there would be actual duels, so there would be 1v1 warlord showdowns, so you circle them, you can feint, so like passive parry, feint as in like, feint and attack, passive parry, massive Dao swings and pistol draws, stuff like that. Exploration. So exploration, there would be yellow wind currents, guiding arrows / tools, compose revolutionary couplets at pavilions for buffs, opium visions at dens, reveal secrets. Allies and armies, so you can rally bandits, so red spears, which are magic-believing peasants. There's defectors, you can lead militia charges, stuff like that. That's some of the allies and army. The mounts. So there's horse for traversal. You can unlock motorcycle for chases, truck for supply raids, stuff like that. Because this is during the 1920s, so there are horses, but there's also motorcycles and stuff like that you can Right on. Alright, so some of the standoffs. So there would be slow-mo multi-kills against patrols, chaining pistol shots, and sword finishes, stuff like that. So in this one, there's actually a, what is it? There's a, what do you call this? Like a legend system, I guess you could say. So there's things like mythic tales retell real events like the Zili Anoi War. You can master unique abilities like derail an armored train and stuff like that as your legend grows, as your name grows, I should say. Stuff like that. There would be a director mode, so there would be a cinematic black and white filters for duels, evoke 1920 newsreels, stuff like that. Evoking 1920s newsreels. So there would be unique warlord features, so there would be things like faction raids, so dynamic events that repel Feng Tian incursions or KMT scouts. There would be sabotage missions. So blow up Renault tanks or artillery trains, stuff like that. Yeah, there's gonna be tanks in this too. Totally forgot about that. That would be an interesting enemy, having tanks to deal with. Honor meter, so high honor. So if you have high honor, allies flock. Honorable ending, you have an honorable ending, stuff like that. If you have a low honor, fear spreads, and your terror or your cutthroat abilities amplify. Do you have terror aura, which would scatter foes, stuff like that. There would be a co-op mode, so you can team up. You can play it with a friend if you want to. You know, you and a friend or a couple friends can play this together and have fun, all that. You can team up for historical battles like the Shan Haiguan sieges and stuff like that. Yeah, that's everything. This is kind of just a little spurt, like, this is just something I had, I had in mind. Not in mind, but when I watched a video about historical stuff and heard about the Warlord Era of China, and I'm like, damn, wouldn't that make a great video game? So I made a concept video about it. But yeah, let me know what you guys think and how would you do your own game similar to this. What would you do? Some of the things you would change, or if you would just keep it the way it is. But yeah, that's the video. Make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. And yeah, peace.